Hey everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Just Angie. It's the Ustawi segment and where we talk about leadership, governance, justice and purpose. And I've been having a conversation with Dr. Oscar, who speaks to us about relationships. And on the 18th of June, he'll be speaking to men, purely men, nobody, no female within sight, even the waitressing staff, nobody. Absolutely. It will be all men. And they will be on the 18th of June, he'll be speaking to men. And on the 25th of June, he'll be speaking to women. And I like the fact that he separates both audiences. The details are in the post. You can find the details of how to engage in both those forums, but it's important. But come ready to be, I feel, broken, taken apart and put back together again. But it's good for you. As you grow, you understand being pulled together and apart is very good. Then you can be put together again, because we've had a problem with our relationships for far too long. True. And you know, relationships are so important, Dr. Oscar. They really are. They keep, I feel like they keep the world going. They keep you moving. When you're in a relationship, especially what's the word? Like a relationship between a man and a woman and you're unhappy, it's really sad. But with everyone, I mean, if you're with your kids and you're not happy, at work you're not happy, with other people you're not happy, it's a big problem. And I found that what you shared cut across the board. It just made me question myself. But I always say also, I'm also older and wiser. Yes. So me, I like to question myself, like, hey, what? But like I said, when you spoke, open heart surgery. So we have such a short time to talk about so many things. I know. But you left it off at seasons. Yes. Because you shared with us. Yes. Not only are the peacock feathers. Yes. All the things that attract to this man, but changes are taking place. True. Both in the man and the woman. True. So, like, I'm not the expert. You are the pure psychologist.
No, thank you. I think thank you again for this very great opportunity. And I think that your platform is so important.
Thank you.
That both women and men will heal through the work that you're doing in the team that you have. I think I've not really had such a good time even presenting and speaking to people, because I saw the heaviness and the expectation in the air that, so I don't take it lightly in any way. And I think I've told you that before. And it begins with biology for me. I think the last week we were talking about the Y chromosome, the X chromosome, and we talked a bit about that. But something interesting starts happening when now we talk about relationships. I'm not going to talk about puppy love in high school. That one is not the one. We're talking about over 18, right? Relationships which could end up leading in serious consequences of either marriage, lifelong partnership, or anything else that could happen over the age of 18. So men and women are not the same.
That's the thing. I came away with that stark reality.
We are not.
I knew it, but now it was highlighted, because now this was science.
Yes. No,
there's no emotions. Yeah. There's no religion.
No,
there's nothing. This is purely science.
There's no even social morality.
No.
Anything about it.
Science.
And because I'm not an endocrinologist, and I think I'll ask your viewers to go and verify this information for themselves, because it's better to put the words you talk about scientifically out to test. So what happens is, when between the age of about 18 to 25, that's where we begin all of this. So what I'll do, I'll split the seasons of our lives from about 18 to 25, 25 to 35, 35 to 45, 45 to 55, 55 to 65, then above 65. So those are kind of like the clusters, so we can be able to understand what I'm going to talk about. The first thing we have to look at is those hormones, which are, I'll call them reproductive hormones. Because reproductive hormones, you can call them sex hormones or whatever it is, but they're the hormones that actually signal to us attractiveness of the opposite sex or the person we're attracted to. Now, what happens to guys? Let me start with guys, because they're my people.
These are your people.
So when a guy is 20, please stop preaching to him.
He's not listening. He's just listening to his hormones.
His testosterone is up there.
He can't hear anything else.
Highest. He's not hearing it. In fact, if it was that picture of a brain, sometimes he puts brain. All I'll say is, because this is a Christian show.
It's okay. I told you to leave religion. Leave God out of this story. Inside, now. This is science.
The whole brain is full of a 3-letter word.
SEX.
SEX.
That's all he thinks about.
But because the draw and the strength of testosterone in his body is so much.
It's high.
So high, it's like parking a very heavy engine in a small car.
Wow, I like that analogy.
Power. It cannot be controlled. You can
Power
try
without
to.
control.
Power without control. That's it. It's power without control. Now, is it the fault of the young person? Not really. That's just how nature is.
Yeah.
But now here's the trick. When I come to my sisters, the women,
it's not there.
They're at the lowest. Estrogen is not at home.
Imagine.
So all the girls are in CU, they're in all the clubs in campus, guys are drinking, all the girls are in Christian Union. And if this guy tries to hit on this girl, she's not having it. She's not having it. But she'll talk to an older guy in his 40s. But I'll save that for why.
We'll save that. But
right?
yeah, that's why they get along.
Yes, but these ones, then you start hearing women at that age is when they start confidently saying, we are more emotionally mature than men. All men think about is sex. As we think about progress, we think about our future.
Purpose.
We think about purpose.
You went there to my purpose. I'm like, Dr. Oscar.
Purpose.
Tread carefully.
You told me the women are rising. They start rising when they're 20. That's where they're rising. Men are directionless.
They're directionless.
We are directionless. Please don't try to give me a career.
No.
I want a woman.
That's
I didn't
what
say
I
I
want.
want a wife.
I want a woman.
That's it.
I actually want to engage in the sexual activity.
Yes.
Is that what we're saying?
I
That's what they want.
I want to know her biblically,
Dr. Oscar.
So the testosterone is really so high up. But then nature and God, they do a trick. And the trick is that from that moment on, the clock is ticking.
Ticking. That's the thing I learned. Yeah.
It starts now. I don't know if now I'll do it for the viewers.
Goes
Let me
this
see.
way.
Yeah, let me see. So that's the camera.
Yeah,
so
that's
what
the
I'll
camera.
do is that I'll make them look. This is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. So testosterone at 20, go with advancing age. At 20, it's highest up there. But as age advances, it starts declining and declining and declining and declining.
My goodness.
Right? Now for women, the same graph, you start at the bottom.
It's going up.
And starts adding. That's why all of a sudden, if you go to Instagram, Pastor Angie,
I'm holding my comment. But if you go to Instagram,
go to IG. Women at 35 have motivational words
Dr. Oscar.
about the way
words?
they have discovered themselves.
Yes, we're discovering ourselves.
All of a sudden, I know who I am. I know what I want. Estrogen has spoken to them. And I told them, by the way, you've just been...
I'm afraid to ask.
You've been in a lull all these years.
But now things are waking up.
And now you're waking up.
Wow.
There's a movie, an American movie called How Stella Got Her Groove Back.
Yes, I remember how Stella
got
got
an
her groove back. Yeah, woman,
right?
Getting her groove back.
Because
really
the groove is
was
being
there a guy called
gotten.
Raul? Was there a guy
Yeah,
called
I don't
Raul?
remember his name. The guy him his groove. And also remember his age.
He was young.
He was young.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the
so
proof.
So they were talking the truth.
The same language.
Yes. So let's do something with this graph. Raul is at 20.
Raul is at 20 and he's coming down?
No, his testosterone is up here. Let's start working with Stella. Stella is growing older. At 40 and at 20, they're at exactly the same place.
Sexually.
The highest estrogen and the highest testosterone. And they are matched perfectly.
Imagine, that's really sad. We have to ask God questions. What is that?
Then higher, it's not even by the way, there's a biological other reason as to why your estrogen is highest there. If you've not had kids, God and nature are now telling you, hey, can you hurry up?
To have kids.
Now all of a sudden,
your clock, your biological clock is ticking.
As it's ticking, you have more desire. That will give you a higher chance of getting that child.
Oh, okay.
Because when you're 20,
so it's the body kicking in and saying.
That's it.
Actually, that's a good explanation. It's saying, hey, it's time to have kids. Okay.
Now,
so the desire
to
have sex is increasing because that's the way kids are produced.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now let's have Stella at 20. She's in the CU.
Stella is in the CU.
She's in all these clubs.
I'll just do it. You have to Gilead, I'll see you, but it's okay.
Are sanctified and washed
and
in
holy.
whatever, and they don't have hormones.
So does the holiness end at 35, 40? What are you saying? When we discover ourselves.
Now let me start putting it. She's at whatever. Raul, we'll give him a different name. At 20, he went at about 45. You see where he is?
He's down here.
So if you see this guy at 45 taking a beamer, like I told you my heartbreak story when I was in campus.
Feathers. Yes, your heartbreak story, I remember.
His feathers are now blossoming because he is anti-performance.
Oh, yeah. And he can't help it.
And he can't
is
help
he
it.
frustrated, by the way?
He's very
because
frustrated.
Does he know that this is what is happening to him?
He can feel it. He knows he's different. He's no longer the way he was at 20.
His sex drive has gone down.
But the only one person who can understand him
is the one who are at the same level.
Who has no interest at the same time.
Because her body has no interest.
Her body has no interest. Neither does his.
So they're compatible.
So
this is why we find...
Now when you talk about sponios...
new bail.
The new bail that was unleashed is hanging out with this older bail.
Older guy.
Kabisa, Gen X and millennials are hanging out with the new bill, Gen Z, the ones who are giving character development to people, including employers. That's what's happening. So until we understand the biological basis of our sex hormones and our hormones for attraction.
Yeah, and for relationships, because that's what they are for. That's the purpose.
So you marry an age mate, and I think I demonstrated during the talk, and then you guys are at very different points. Then you converge briefly between the ages of 35. And in fact, you find most people who are happy that between the age of 32 and 37 they're so happy and they're so in sync, matching vitenges. That's where it happens. It doesn't happen in any of the ages. That's where the vitenges are matching. Then people start now going different ways. Not because they want to, not because they're bad people, but because their biology
is speaking. Biology is at work.
It's at work. But then something else. So God does not leave you hanging. Nature does not.
I told you to leave. I don't know.
Right?
God doesn't.
You've been hanging all your life. But then now, when this man gets to that 45, 55, when it's depleting a lot, the woman herself has also seen an upsurge in the 40s. It also starts declining, and it declines. They meet later on. That's why I said we even divide it
55,
to 65 and above.
Yeah.
That's why now they
meet again.
They meet again. The most satisfactory relationships
are those ones.
Are the people
55,
who are
60,
over that
65. Absolutely amazing.
Because it's not only based on physical attractiveness, it's also about connection. And I think that's what we're talking about, the components of love.
Yeah.
And that intimacy, commitment,
and passion.
And I'll talk about it just a bit.
Because they need to come now and listen to
you
giving it
yes,
out.
Exactly.
But I think so.
Yeah, so I'm not going to give them the full dose. But I'll say that at that point, your intimacy level with your partner is at its highest.
At now the 65.
At the 65 and above. You really want to know about them. What have they overcome throughout their life? Because now you're looking at fewer years towards the end of your life. You don't really spend your time
life is coming to an end.
Looking for affection and stuff like that. You're really trying to see who's this person and can they be a companion to me? Because that's what you want. So you become deeply intimate with each other at that point. Does it mean physically you're
That's what I'm going to say, because it doesn't have to be a sexual intimacy, but it's a connection of the heart and the spirit, I think.
A connection. There's a lot of people who are connected sexually, but they're not connected intimately.
The 20-year-old
demonstrated.
That guy is just into passion.
There's
no commitment. There's no intimacy. He doesn't even know your name.
No.
And maybe calling you the wrong name.
And in Kenya, we have nicknames for them. Kevo, Brayo, and they know. Right?
I will remain. I don't know why. I was like, why Kevo, Brayo, and Deno? But anyway.
It's a Kenyan culture thing. I don't know why. But they're the ones at that age. So if you can say about the components of love without me talking about them through the lifespan.
Yes. We'll talk about that at the two seminars.
At the seminars.
We'll that,
So for love to work, in 1972, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Goldenberg, I believe, came up with these components. And he said that love has 3 components. The first one is intimacy. And intimacy is getting to know your partner deeper.
So it's deeper. It's not that we're intimate or sexually compatible.
No.
It's knowing me.
Knowing the person. Intimacy. I think somebody in the group said that. They said intimacy. So basically, like looking into their heart and knowing who they are, their vulnerabilities, their strengths, their joys. The second component is commitment. No, let me not go to commitment. Passion is the one that you don't put religion in. No religion. I
don't want to leave the religion at the door. There's no religion
Passion is what makes sure that humanity goes on.
Yes. That the world continues to evolve. Amen. That's a good style.
We're talking about the attractiveness, especially physically, to your partner. and the desire to have them that way. So it's anything that actually leads to that physical satisfaction, that's sexual in nature, that's fulfilling in nature in the context of a relationship. So that's what passion is. The third component is commitment. And commitment
means different things to different people. I was about to say that. I don't know. I think commitment means different things to different people.
Yes. You meet a girl the first day, she has seen her husband.
And sometimes when you always like, is that the one? Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Is this the one?
So she's in, oh my God, is he the one? Is he the one? Him is a frog waiting to be kissed. As in
to be turned into a prince.
He has no
a barbarian.
In fact, he's blindsided.
He came to floss his guy.
The guy came to show his plumes. Then Mara is hearing marriage. What are you talking about? Right?
Hey, Dr. Oscar.
Commitment is, of course, like you said, means different things to different people, but it's just about the desire to spend the rest of your life with this person, but building on something. Yeah. So you can want to spend time with them, but building on something with them. So a relationship that you work on. So when you look at these three things, they mix and they form that thing we call love. So I'm not going to go deep into that. Because
but what we know is that Dr. Oscar will break it down for you, how the ICP is playing out at the different ages, 18 to 25, 25 to 35. So we'll break it down all the way, see what is leading, what is first, what is second, what is third. And that's powerful because it really helps you understand yourself and your situation.
Exactly. There's so much. And this is not even, we've not even talked about personalities.
And how they come in. But you did say something that will help somebody in case even they don't come. I thought that was different. When you said that we are, for a long time we've been taught, I think, to be opposite or to be attracted to those who are opposite. But you actually said we should get married to people who are we are more similar. That's the first time I've ever heard that, Dr. Oscar. But it makes sense.
Everybody talks about opposites attract.
But opposites are, they're not going to gel. They can't connect. It's like we'll always be fighting each other because my personality is so different.
I only say the only time opposites attract is when they're magnets.
So what magnets? Because they're pulling each other.
Yeah, north and south will pull each other. And I can tell you for right now, they'll pull each other passionately. But those other components will miss, and that's not going to be a relationship to speak of. And that's the only time opposites attract. But we really need to be going for similar people like us.
So that we can, I feel like it's moving in sync.
In sync, yes. So you can understand why somebody values A, B, C instead of the other things. As opposed to someone coming in and valuing a completely different set of things. And people are finding this out in the 5th year of marriage. Because women were told, train your man.
You can't train him.
I don't
think. Can you train a man? I don't think so. You can't train him. You can't change him.
I'll give you the circus analogy. Remember I used the circus analogy?
Yes.
Trainer, a tiger trainer. The guy comes, cracks his whip, the tiger does whatever he wants. It jumps up, it jumps. When he closes the circus and goes home, the tiger turns back into a tiger. And it's ravaging all the meat and all that stuff, and it's misbehaving the way a tiger should be misbehaving in the wild. That's akin to training your man. So you'll train him. He'll do exactly what you want in your face.
In your face, but he'll do what he wants.
But once you turn off the lights and you've turned the other direction, he'll be himself. Now, I'm not saying all men are bad or anything, but I'm saying they will not be in the natural position if you thought or you deemed it necessary to change them. So we can't change men. And that's the other thing, that's why I said men are broken.
Don't try to fix them.
Don't try to fix them.
That was so powerful.
Yeah,
don't try to fix them.
Don't try to fix them.
They have to go through the journey.
Yes, the journey
of healing.
Men use the story of the superhero, the archetype, that's what we call it, the archetype, to go through transformation from a boy to a man, to difficulty, to adversary, to conquering all that stuff, to understand who they are. If you don't let them go through that journey, what you have at the end of the day is a broken boy.
Dr. Oscar, I have no words. So, as they come to the seminar to listen to all these things, which is important because it's education, it's being briefed. What I loved about your session was perspective.
Yes.
It's like you helped us put on another lens. And that's important.
Thank you.
But you have to live with hope. What's the hope? Because me now where I'm standing, apart from me changing myself and trying to work on myself, and I saw things came into perspective. Like, so that's why this happened. Yeah. So this is why this happened. This is why this happened. And even what I desire. What do I desire in terms of intimacy, compassion, intimacy, commitment, and passion,
Yes.
that became clear.
Exactly.
But leave them with some hope. Look into that camera and leave them with some hope as they engage with us on the 18th and the 25th of June.
Well, I know that many times I might sound like the prophet of doom, but I'm actually the prophet of perspective and introspection. The idea that you can have a healthy relationship is actually still alive and well, but it begins with you allowing yourself to really understand yourself as a person, either as a man or a woman, knowing what season of life you're in, and then knowing how to offer grace to your partner. Because a lot of the things they're doing are not because they hate you, but it's because of the season where they're in. So for me, it's just to tell you that, once you have that and apply grace into your life, you'll have a lot of hope. And if you want to hear more, the 18th and the 25th of June are prime times for you to come. If you're a man, of course, the slots are limited, as well as for the women.
Yeah.
Come and let's talk, because I don't claim to be the expert pastor.
No, but we had a good conversation.
Yeah, I just claim to be a person who has
to
taken the time
facilitate, I think.
Yeah, to just think about it. Because if you think about a forensic psychologist, I should have been a marital and family therapist if I'm going to be the expert.
No.
But that's not even what's taught there. I think these are some of the things you learn through life and learn how to connect the dots and hopefully touch somebody. So the conviction I have is that once all of us can learn this, we parent differently. We start creating a generation that's going to be different. That's not going to be transactional in the relationship. That's going to have more grace in the relationships. That's not going to be expecting men to deliver moons when they've never
to deliver so much.
So much. And that's why you're seeing a lot of crisis in mental health for men because of that pressure, and they can't express themselves about it. And that's why we create these safe spaces for them. So I think for me, I think if we go deeper in that, when people come, I think they'll see it a bit more clearly.
Actually, when I was just going over my notes that I wrote that day, I think for me the takeout was, let's heal the nation. When we heal ourselves, when men undergo their own healing and women undergo their own healing, then we can create stronger families, which societies, nations are formed on the strength of families. So we really need to do that. And then we also bring into the world another generation that is empowered, that is equipped, that is not lost, that doesn't even understand, why am I going through all this? Why do I feel like this? Because we have the education. So that's why I do what I do. And of course, the slots are limited. We can't have the whole world there. But so, you come engage and let's see. And even I know that even just the 2 conversations we've had have blessed you. Dr. Oscar, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Pastor.
Thank you so much. I really thank God for the day I met you. I
remember
we were coming to size each other up. I was like,
Who's this guy?
Who's this guy? Let me see.
And me, I was like, Ati Pastor.
Ati Pastor.
Let me see.
Let me see.
But thank you.
I'm very grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for being open. And that the way the message of Christ is delivered to people is not through admonishing and judging people. It's through understanding that you're not preaching to robots, but to human beings who live on earth. And I think when you engage the experts around what happens to those human beings, you put yourself in a better position to minister to them because you'll understand them the way they are. And that, to me, was what the humility of all of it. I think that you're doing a good job, and I'm proud to be associated.
Thank you so much. I really love that, Dr. Oscar. It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
And I must say this, I keep trying to end it, but I remember the Mentimeter, the exercise that we carried out. And I can't remember the questions were, but I think there were questions on the reality. A reality check is what I'd say. When I saw the women in the room, and when I saw the comments on Mentimeter, which is anonymous, I didn't know whether to stop and cry. And there was a mismatch. These women were put together. They were smelling good, looking good, dressed well.
Absolutely. But broken inside.
But so broken. And when I saw that, hey, I knew, April, please, let's leave religion. I remember I told you, leave religion, remove God, these are human beings. And then God created us. He created us with all those hormones that you know, but He's the one who did it. So we just we have to understand how do they work and work for us. And bring us into better relationships, than the drama that we are seeing. So I'm very grateful. So I felt like I've met a kindred spirit. And I'm really looking forward to meeting your wife too, that we're gonna meet. So thank you so much. See you on the 18th for the men at MID and 25th for the women. The details are provided in the post details. Karibuni sana. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.